Bend the knee! Valamagolas, everybody. This is Don Willie back again for another edition of Game of Thrones Season 6. Will it happen in the books? So, this one is for episode number 4, entitled The Book of the Stranger. And again, we're going to be looking at events that have happened in the show that have either not happened in the books yet, or if they were referenced in the books and shown up in the show, will they actually be shown on screen? So, we're going to start off with the events at the wall. So you have John, who is talking about leaving the Night's Watch because he feels like he was betrayed by his brothers and then killed for doing the right thing. And he's like, hey, you know what? This isn't what I want to do anymore. And so him and Ed kind of get into a back and forth about, what is the actual meaning of the oaths. And the fact that he died, does that release him from his vows? And, also, they've seen the White Walkers. Now, in the books, none of these guys have actually seen the White Walkers. They know the White Walkers do exist because they've seen whites. The only one who's actually seen an actual White Walker and lived to tell about it is Samwell Tarly, and he's nowhere near where they are right now. But the question that is on everyone's mind is, will Jon Snow leave the Night's Watch in the books to go and pursue other things other than the others? I know it wasn't supposed to be other, but whatever. And so my perception of this one, what I'm thinking is, yes, he will leave. He will say that, you know what, you guys did betray me. You stabbed me after I went and tried to do the right thing. I made sure not to involve any of you guys in me going to answer the challenge for Ramsay, and you still killed me for it anyway, so, fuck you guys. I'm out. But I do think he will come back to the wall to help defend it when the White Walkers actually do show up. We also get the show's version of the Pink Letter, and Jon Snow finally going to answer that, and it's with the help of Sansa, and it looks like we're possibly going to get some help from Peter Baelish and the Knights of the Vale. So for this one, the question is, will he march on Winterfell with whatever wildlings and whatever Northmen he possibly can to take back Winterfell from the Boltons? And I am going to say yes, he will. This is kind of like a follow up to the last question about if he will leave the Night's Watch or not. So, I decided might as well group these two together. And as far as the rest of the stuff that happened at the wall, look, no one else, with the exception of Melisandre, is at the wall currently. Davos isn't at the wall. Sansa, Podrick, and Brienne are not at the wall. So this is not something that is actually an issue that needs to be brought to the table. So we can move right along. And so let's go to King's Landing and talk about the events there. So we have the High Sparrow going to Marjorie and, saying, hey, look, you know, I think you're kind of ready to atone, so I'm going to give you the gift of seeing Loras Tyrell, and she's all, hey, you got to stay strong, blah, blah, blah. And look, in the book's totally different situation for why she is actually in jail in the first place. Cersei has been told by Tommen that Marjorie is supposed to do a walk of shame the same way she did, and now the Lannisters and the Tyrells are going to join forces to take back Marjorie and basically bring down the High Sparrow and the Faith Militant. And so the question is, will this happen in the books where they try to save Marjorie from ultimate humiliation And I'm going to say no. In the books, I don't think they're actually going to make Marjorie do a walk of atonement. I could be wrong, but I think that's a well that George isn't going to go back to again. He's already did it with Cersei. Why do it with Marjorie too? And in the show, the High Sparrow is a little bit more of a sadist, and yeah, he just kind of wants to see people suffer just to see them suffer sometimes. So yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one. And also, as far as the Tyrells and the Lannisters getting together, after what happened at the end of A Dance with Dragons, I'm going to say that no, there's no way in hell that the Lannisters and the Tyrells are going to be uh, having any form of alliance whatsoever. So now let's take it to Winterfell. So we have the scene with Ramsay and Osha. And man, she tries to use some of her wildling charms on the man who really can't be charmed at all. And she loses her life for it. So rest in peace to Osha. The question is, will Osha be killed by either Ramsay, Roose, or possibly another house that is an enemy of House Stark in the books? For this one, uh, man, this is a very tough one to call. But for this one, I am going to say no. I do believe that it is very possible she will die in battle, but I don't think that she will wind up being handed over as a captive and be unceremoniously just killed like that. All right, damn. This season has been kind of a mixed bag because they keep on bringing in people that you haven't seen in a while, and just the moment they pop up on screen, done. You know, uh, and as soon as she walked into that room, I knew that was pretty much going to be her last scene in this series. So it is what it is. So pretty much we're done with the Westeros portion of this one. So we are going to take it to Essos, and we're going to look at Meereen most of all. So look, we've seen Tyrion do his fine wheeling and dealing. This is Tyrion unchained. He has no one holding him back from making the diplomatic decisions that he needs to make. And he made a very, very good deal, even though Missandei and Grey Worm are kind of like, look, you don't know these people, you don't know what they're capable of, and you're a fool if you think this deal is going to hold in place. I mean, hey, well, we'll see what happens with that one. Now, the question is, will Tyrion get inside of Meereen and be able to do this same kind of negotiating on Daenerys' behalf while she's gone, and presumably a captive of the Dothraki? But these guys don't know where she is. And for this one, I am going to say no. While I like Tyrion a lot in the show, and I do love him in the books, his wheeling and dealing that he has done is with the Second Sons, so this way he can actually try to reclaim Casterly Rock. He's trying to get them to turn their cloaks and be with Daenerys again, and yeah, I don't think he's going to actually get to do this kind of wheeling and dealing. All of his wheeling and dealing is done outside the walls of Meereen, and it is on his own kind of terms. It's not a thing of, all right, yeah, I'm doing this and this will help save Daenerys, so or at least the city of Meereen. He's doing it all for his own particular causes, and that's pretty much about it when it comes to Tyrion. Last but not least, we have Daenerys. She is in Vase Dothrak. She is being held by the crones of the Dosh. All the cows are coming back, and they are going to decide whether or not Daenerys joins the Dosh or whether or not they are going to, you know, have basically every man in the Dothraki and their horses rape Daenerys. Um, and she kind of ceremoniously burns them along with the temple of the Doshkaleen. She kills all of them, walks out unburned, and is like, "Bend the knee!" And the Dothraki decide they are going to bend the knee. So now there are a couple of questions in here that need to be asked, and the first question is, will she kill all of the Dothraki calls in order to unite the Dothraki as one single Khalasar under her rule? For this one, I'm going to say no. Not that she won't kill any calls at all. I do believe she's going to kill a few. I don't think she's going to necessarily need to kill all of them. And I don't think it'll be her burning down the Temple of the Dosh in that particular manner. She hasn't made it to Vase Dothrak in the books yet, but we do know from her vision of the House of the Undying that she does see the crones kind of kneeling before her after doing a purification ritual. So, we'll have to see what happens with that part. Now, the next thing that we have to ask for this one, since Daenerys was the unburnt in this particular episode, we heard George say that Dany not being killed by the fire that birthed her dragons was kind of a one-time mystical magical event. I mean, yes, this is a fantasy story, but George doesn't rely on the magic, so it's kind of magic stuff happens when it needs to, and when it doesn't need to, it doesn't happen. So the question is, if Daenerys does decide to burn down the Temple of the Dosh, or some other fiery event happen, will she come out unscathed? And the answer to this one is absolutely not. No, no, no. And because look, before, even when she birthed the dragons, yeah, physically she came out okay, but it burned off all her hair. And then even this last time at the end of A Dance with Dragons, when we see her fly off, she was on fire, and we get her, all blistered up, half her hair is gone. So, yeah, we already know that Daenerys is not fireproof in the books. So, look, I've resigned myself that the books are the books and the show is the show. Even though there are some times when I'm like, damn it, would you just stick to the fucking script? But I had no problem with Daenerys coming out unscathed in this particular one. Alright, so, hey. You guys let me know what you think, if this stuff will happen in the books or not. Or, will it be different when it shows up in the books? Alright, and for the things that have happened off screen, will they be brought to light or will they remain mysteries, never to be solved? Alright, so thank you again for watching, and you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. That has been my time, and this is Don Willie saying, Valor Dahiris.